All right, we are live. Give a few seconds here for everybody to kind of catch up. There we go.
Tell me when you want to do the intro.
Go ahead. We're live.
Of course, I didn't tune before. That's pretty good. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's judging, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's judging, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's judging, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya.
There we go.
Welcome.
Good job. Now I got to figure out how to change this. There we go. All right, so we are live. Eschatology podcast-ish live on YouTube and Facebook, so it's not really a podcast, but here we are with MECA Commissioner Steve Stern, and we're doing a little bit of a follow-up from our way too long 4.5-hour conversation with Vinny a couple weekends ago. This one will not be as long. We committed to keep this to around an hour or so, give or take. Hopefully we can stick within that. I think we'll be okay. This isn't really fully open Q&A like what we did last time, more of to kind of give a platform to for response and for MECA to show that obviously everybody's listening and participating in the conversation, and that way we can kind of give an explanation of things. I have not really talked to Steve about any of the agenda. Obviously he was in tune with what was going on with the conversation with Vinny a couple weekends ago. So and has had quite a few conversations with, I know, quite a few people since then, just getting a basis of everything. So I'm pretty much just going to kind of hand it over to Steve. I think we did most of the molding last time. We don't need to rehash any of that at this point. Just more get an idea where MECA is with the SQL program, what their plans are, and go from there. If Steve and I have already done a podcast a couple years ago, I think it was now. So if you want to get, we're not going to go into the full history and everything. We already did that once. So if you want to listen to that, you can do so on our podcast. Just search for Eschatology Steve Stern and it should pop up, or go to SoundCloud and it'll be in the links there. So without further ado, we're just going to kind of jump in here, and I'll hand it over to Steve, and we will go from there.
Okay. Thanks, Clifton.
Yes,
Howdy,
sir.
everybody out there in SQ land. That's where I'm at too. And just wanted to touch base with y'all. Been trying to reach out to the car audio community and the sound quality people in general for a long time, especially the last about 4 to 6 months, even before finals, really trying to hammer home the fact that sound quality is important to MECA, and it's one of the main reasons we have a MECA. And our sound quality program is based on music and accurate perception and scoring and understanding. So we want to do better in the future than we've done. This is our 23rd year, and we do have a historical, I'd say precedent on a lot of things, but we just have a good history that is rich and meaningful to us. And that's part of our car stereo world. And one of the first things I just want to address, kind of tongue in cheek here, is just, I've seen some interest in why we call our champions the world champs. And, I will just tell you, they are our MECA world champs in the MECA world. You may not like that way of looking at it, but MECA was created in the beginning, 1999, by me and Brad and some other people. Was not just created for the USA, was not just created with USA rules, was not just created for North America. It was created for the mobile electronics industry. And that's all over the world, no matter where you're at. There are people that sell mobile electronics. And so it may sound farcical, and I don't mean to be arrogant about it, and I'm not ethnocentric about it. It's, someday I really believe, and I have believed for many years, that the car stereo industry would come together and sponsor some sort of championships that truly did bring vehicles in from around the world, that were all judged on the same day in the same place by the same judges fairly, as fairly as we could do that. So that's our rationale on our world champions. They are the MECA world, and we do have our own world. And if you don't believe it, then you're not part of it. Because there are people that, we live and breathe, and a lot of our lives revolve around what we do in MECA. It may not be the most important thing, and probably should not be, but it is an important thing to us and something we value, especially with our friends and the music that we share. Okay. So
Absolutely.
I hope that's understood. And, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, or, you can make fun of us all you want, because I know you do, some of you, and that's the way the world works. But, we're serious about having fun with music and MECA and each other, without hurting anybody's feelings, without stepping on anybody's toes, without offending anybody or making them feel left out. This is an all-inclusive car audio community, and that's what we started this to do. And we're not done. So I want everybody to participate as much as they can stand it, depending on the level you're at. So just go over a couple points. One of the main issues and topics is, what MECA is scoring for in the vehicles, and what we're listening for, and how we're trained, and, how we do the training, things like that. The main thing is that we're looking for, as much as possible, to recreate a musical environment that is pleasing and realistic and replicates as much as possible the way the music was recorded at the time it was recorded, where it was recorded. Yep. So that's a lot, and that's very subjective. That's very ethereal, but at its best, it's wonderful, because when that's all working, you've got amazing music, you've got an amazing car audio system, and something to be proud of, and something that something you really enjoy. Well, that's the idea. So we want people to come to our contests, to have a good time, and to pick up on the fact that there's training, there's guidance, there's help. Some of the competitors are great resources. Almost all of them. They've all got their experiences. They've all got their stories, levels of involvement and participation. But you can learn from everybody. And when you quit learning, then you're done, no matter what you're doing. And, I'm talking a lot right now, and that's contradictory to what I'm about to say. But Larry King had a saying. He said, I listen. That's how I learn. When I stop listening, I quit learning. And that's why he was a good interviewer, and why his shows were popular, because he let the people be themselves, and let them express themselves the way they needed to do. And that's what we do in MECA. I think we do the same thing. We give people a lot of latitude, whether it be in the Sound Pressure League or the Sound Quality League in particular here. We give people a lot of latitude to be themselves and to have fun within the limits of, our social and pandemic climate at the moment. And, we are all living with that. So not to get sidetracked, but we're trying to get people to understand what the better cars sound like, just because of the way they score, and And let me just say, there's a lot going on in my mind here, but there's been some talk too about the quarter point thing, and we've discussed the quarter points as far as scoring and increments. And the judges that I've talked to all feel comfortable with quarter points. We're used to using them. We feel they are meaningful. They're like little bonus points, or they could be.
Lost you. You there?
It was a civilian calling in. Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
You good?
So we're going to stick with the quarter points. I know that was an issue, and I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but I would ask you to think of it this way. Yes, it's a score. There's no doubt, and it's a score that was derived from a human or a group of humans, but maybe look at it more as percentages, because and I'm not trying to bullshit you. I'm just saying, just think of it this way, because this is kind of how I think about it as a statistician. Yes, it's a score, but think of it as a percentage of 100, because that's the whole idea behind the 100-point score sheet. And maybe it's easier to understand. I don't know, not so much understand, but deal with that way. I don't know. Think about that. I'm not trying to BS you. I'm just saying that's another way of looking at it. And of course, you can do anything you want with statistics. Take them and jam them up, where, but
And I think the issue I think with the people have is having more definition
right
against those points. If they're going to be there, then there needs to be not quite so much latitude for the for the judge to have where it gives a lot of guessing room for the competitor to kind of know what's happening there without better definitions with the rule book.
The judges that use them and that have been using them, I mean, we get it. It's we understand it. We understand. You just don't feel comfortable giving a 7.5 for whatever reason. It's not quite there. And if you can discern it and you can quantify it, then and you feel that to me those quarter points are real important, especially down in like the 3-point categories where you don't have a lot of room to breathe.
Right.
Very, very important there. So live with us on that, and just know we feel that it's a good system and it's fair. We're not being unfair to anybody by using quarter points, I don't think.
And to maybe back up here a little bit, and this is something that Vinny and I didn't really get into, and I don't know because, as I started a family and everything else, so I was kind of off the scene from around 2003, 2004 until 2012. And somewhere in there, the way I remember it was, in the beginning, it was whole points. There weren't quarter points, or there might have been half points, but I don't think there was quarter points.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we did have half points, and I think where you come to about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was, people said we needed more separation, and that's when we went to quarter points.
Okay, so that was and that was my question, was I wasn't clear on why quarter points started. Yeah.
Well, people really did ask because we're having a lot of ties. And we still have some ties, but we have less ties.
Right. Okay. That was all. I didn't mean to.
No, that's okay. No, I'm glad. I've got a lot that I'd like to share, and please help me keep it categorized.
Oh, you're all good. You're all good.
Getting back to now past the quarter points, and you were talking with Vinny, and we do have an issue with the way people understand what we're judging to. And the rule book says we judge to the standard, which is our everybody's musical memory put together, the whole universe, whatever. And this is what real music sounds like when you're experiencing it live. Okay. And I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm looking at my notes here. We just.
Well, I think the primary issue there was just knowing. I mean, obviously, there's not a reference necessarily, but people are. MECA has always strived to go after a more. Well, I mean, in the beginning, it was all about being a concert car, right? I mean, it was having the concert in the car, and straying, from being super technical and everything else, but into having as much of a live experience in the car as possible. It
Well,
seems to me that was really the mantra starting out,
it still
in
pretty
that.
much is. It
Yeah.
still pretty much is. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, trying to make my point, if I could keep my mind straight here, is, um, the standard is the standard, and that's what we should judge to. That's what the rule book says. Vinny had said that he had, taken times before, and all judges make corrections. I mean, everybody does. You're going down the list, you're listening to one track, you rough in a score, you see that's, after going through other tracks, that score doesn't hold up, or maybe it should be better. So, you want to do your best to be honest with your scoring, so you do make a change. So, I know this gets to the heart of one of the big issues is, people trusting MECA. I'm sure there's people laughing right now. People trusting me, ho, ho, ho. People trusting Vinny, people trusting Matt, people trusting any number of, every one of our judges. There's not one judge that does not get criticized or, goes through something as a judge. Look at all the judges that we've had that we don't have anymore. We've had
Right.
so many great judges, but they, stuff happens and they don't judge anymore. They don't want to
Yeah.
be involved. They don't want to put themselves on, on the line. And I understand that, because that is tough. I mean, judging is really hard.
Yeah. It's a thankless job with the,
Sometimes
and
we do get thanked. I'm not gonna,
yeah.
I'm not gonna be 100% thankless on that, but
Right.
and that's great, and we appreciate that. But it's really hard. First of all, the concept of listening to music, you're not breaking it down into all its component parts to enjoy it, as a
Right.
rule, unless you're some, wild-eyed, crazy techno geek engineer who's, just loving auto tune and doing all kinds of crazy effects and all that. I mean, it's a listening experience that we're trying to quantify. We're trying to dissect music, and it's counterintuitive. The idea is to
Right.
relax and enjoy the music, not to spend energy trying to figure it all out.
Right.
Unless you are an engineer, let's just say, we're in the middle of mixing. So that's hard. It's hard enough, and then you have to concentrate on doing it. And then, for all the distractions that you have, and your mind is going through stuff, and you're trying to remember, I've heard this 100 different ways. I've sat in 100 different cars, and you're putting numbers on things that most people just don't think about.
Right.
Just a funny little story. Doing a show in the Virgin Islands, and the sponsor, the host, gave me a gift certificate for a for a massage. So I went for the massage, and it's a straight up massage thing. So getting the rub down there from the lady, and she's playing this music, and I'm there like it's in stereo, and it was really nice stereo, and I'm there like she's rubbing on me, and I'm there saying that's a 5. And that mid range there, that's pretty good, and it's blue, and I'm you're an idiot, what are you doing? Get it out of your mind, quit it. you know,
Yeah.
it's so crazy, but that's how a judge thinks. You hear music and you start dissecting it, especially if you're a musician. I mean, that kind of happens too. So, um, we judge to the standard. If somebody wants to go back and make changes in the, on the score sheet right then, they think they've, overshot. Sometimes you come in a little hot, sometimes you come in a little cold. So they make their adjustments. They initial the adjustments or the changes. We're going to put this in the rule book, so there's no question about this. We don't encourage it, but we understand, we're human. And if somebody really believes that score should be changed, there's not one judge I have that I believe has an ulterior motive or is trying to screw anybody out of anything. I think they're trying to really do a good job, or they wouldn't be there. If there's one thing I've tried to do over the years, it's not to be mean about it, but if somebody doesn't fit the bill, if they don't have the talent to judge or the moral culpability or the honesty, then they're not judging. Okay,
Right.
so these are the best people we've got, and these people too. Just by the way, good many of these people, they've helped shape our listening habits and what we consider good audio in cars now. Matt Roberts, Steve Cook, Mark Eldridge, Alma Gates, Gary Biggs. We can just start going back and just naming all kinds of people. And,
Right.
look where, their legacies have led us to this in MECA. Now, I'm proud of that because I'm proud of our industry. And MECA is a mobile electronics industry partner, big time. And that's real important to what we do. So I hope there's an understanding that the judges are going to judge to the rule book standards and will, if there are any changes or something on a score sheet, they will let the competitor know right then, like, I did make 3 changes. Here they are. I initialed them. So when you get your score sheet back, you'll see that was done. Nothing shady.
And
Okay?
I think the primary thing there was knowing. I think it's understood that changes will happen during the judging process. It's just knowing that there's not changes being made after the judging
That's why we're
process.
going to show them and initial it.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, and there you go. And there were 3 changes. When you get it back, those 3 changes should be the same. Nothing should be different. And we do want to be transparent. I don't think anybody was doing anything wrong before, but it's the perception, and I do understand. And we want people to feel as comfortable as possible, knowing that these people are just doing their best to give you their best.
Right.
And so that's important. And that's all of us. Vinny, too. And I mean, Vinny, I think you all touched on this. Vinny, I'm sure, has judged more sound quality cars than anybody in the world ever.
I would say so.
Yeah, he caught up with me about 15 years ago, and then he just went crazy. So,
and I think too. I mean, going back to the standard too, is just knowing that the standard is not car to car. I mean, I think that's a related issue. Is knowing that the judging should be able to be done to the standard, to whatever the experiential references in the judge's head at that point.
Right.
And obviously there's going to be a side effect of it that when you're going car to car, it's a side effect. It's not intentionally judging this car to that car or trying to sort it beyond the judging process, because
we want the judges comfortable enough in their own skin and their own judging ability and with confidence that when they do their scoring, they're done with the score sheet, that's that.
Right.
You don't
exactly.
really, I mean, I know that's how I am. I'm pretty matter of fact. We really, try to get people to give more and better notes. I mean, I know that's a big thing, and we're always trying to push for that. Some people are just better at it than others. Some people, some notes, I don't know if you want to read them. Maybe not for MECA judges, but I'm just saying.
Well, I can tell you from experience that if anybody wants to get schooled on how to put notes in a score sheet, talk to Linda Popison, and she'll take care of all that.
She is very good. I mean, her notes are, well, most notes you get, if somebody's going to write something down, it's worth paying attention to. But hers are, it's like a little Bible.
Yeah.
Thou shalt adjust. Thou shalt not adjust. Yes, she's wonderful. So let's see if there's anything else. A couple things, something I was a little uncomfortable with too was the at finals having the champions from the year before go last in their judging order. We're going to do what the rule book says, and the rule book says that the people are put in order to be judged in their class by their points, just like in SPL. So. That is there's some determinants there. Somebody can buy more points and blah, blah, blah. But we do discourage people just buying points. We want people to show up.
Right.
But, and we try to monitor that as best we can. And we're doing a better job. And I think we're going to do a better job at that. We really want people to come to the shows and participate. We just don't want you to come and, get a score sheet and score a 1 and take your class. That's, that's not the idea.
Right.
So that's, we're going to take that out of the finals mix, or anytime there's a big show. I mean, people they're going to either come in by points or by alphabetical or something somewhat neutral. Okay.
Right.
Opposed to being a champion. At finals in particular, and I've always advocated this, when you get to finals and the judge gets in your car, that car's got to be ready to go. Okay. There's no redos at finals. Now at the smaller shows, you get in, you hear a problem. The rule book does allow for a 5-minute adjustment. The The judge can get out of the car and say, you've got 5 minutes. I hear something. I just don't think it's right. I think maybe you hit a button or you left the sub on or something. So,
Right.
at smaller shows, we'll handle that. But at finals in particular, there's no redo. The judge gets in, he judges what he hears. That's just the way it is. So that'll be in the rule book too. Anybody who had a question about that? Keep in mind, anything that's happened before, people were just trying to get it right. It wasn't they were trying to show any favoritism. They just, in their bone, they felt something wasn't right. And so they wanted to be as fair as they could be within the constraints of the rule book.
Right.
Let's just put it that way. Okay. So, that pretty much covers what I think we needed to talk about.
What about, did you discuss at all as far as class order? Or that was what you're talking about, was not changing,
They
going
still
from
judge by
stock
class.
to master. Right,
The way it is right now, anyway.
Right,
Okay.
right.
The way we have, and that's still, I think that still is kind of in the rule book with the points. So we're just going to make sure that as far as mixing them up, I have no problem with that. A score is a score, a card is a card. It don't matter to me. Standard's a standard. But it is more organized to kind of keep people together. I do get that rationale too. So, I do see that.
I think some of the kickback on that subject was, that people thinking that there's then a limit on how much you can score in a certain class.
There aren't.
Right. Just making it clear that's not a official stance of MECA.
It's we have to allow for potential. We have to allow for magic. That's one thing about music. The emotional part, the part that really transcends just the instruments playing together, is when it makes the magic. And you have to account for that too.
Right.
And that's part. We're all looking for that magic. A lot of that to me is in the crossovers, just from my experience. But anyway, that's a big thing. So one other thing I did want to bring up, kind of two things together, merging into three, is, I don't think anybody's advocated for the sound quality community like MECA over the past 23 years, and we're not done. We're reaching out more than ever to, especially the industry and the retailers, to participate in amateur sound quality clinics and contests that are strictly for beginner consumers. And we've been promoting this for about the last month. We have a nice crew of manufacturer members who are stepping up and helping to finance this program so that we can supply judges and clinic directors to the retailers. And even a retailer that's not a MECA member can take advantage of this, and it's free. Mm-hmm. And we have True Technology, we have Excess Power, we have JL Audio, Linear Power, and let's see. Oh, we have Stereo Integrity, which is now with Sundown, and one other one. Pardon me with my memory. But everybody, they need to get their due because it's only right. Oh, Arc Audio. How could I forget Arc? Yep. So Arc, JL, Stereo Integrity, Excess Power, Linear Power, and True Technology are all helping us do this. And we want retailers to get involved, especially our specialist MECA brick and mortar stores. We want them to do these little clinics and to bring their people into the store that are customers that are just getting into sound quality. You look at our sound quality finals, and granted, it wasn't a quote unquote normal year, but there was nobody at the sound quality finals under the age of 30 for sure. I think Christopher Anderson, he's right in there somewhere, but he was the youngest person. We don't have any young people. We need some new blood in sound quality. That's really important. So these two street classes, and basically it's very simple. There's Street 1 and Street 2. Street 1 is a three-way system. And basically, you can be creative, and you can use 3 woofers or 1 woofer, no woofer, we don't care. And Street 2 is a 4-way system, which basically allows you to use some mid-bass. There are some basic rules, nothing fancy. We really want to try and keep it simple. There's no world championships in these two in these two classes. They're only for state records. Mm-hmm. So you can be a true amateur and compete for a year and get some points and be a state champion. which is pretty cool. And we hope to bring a good 15 to 20 stores into doing this.
Mhm.
And we hope to bring, I'd like to bring 50 to 100 new sound quality people into our program. They may not all make it to finals, but they'll be in the program. Just keep in mind that a lot of people join MECA not for the long term, but to learn what they need to know so they can get their system where they want it to be. And then, they're done with us. And that might take a year. It might take two. It might take one show. But that's okay. If we did what we're supposed to do and we gave them their money's worth, because we certainly aren't that expensive, they come to a show and maybe pay for a MECA membership and get a clinic and, enter the show. It's not even $100. And they've learned about their car audio like they never would have learned unless, they maybe sat down with a dealer that knew what they were talking about.
Right.
Or one of their friends or something. So that's okay. We're okay with that. But, we're here to service the community, whether they're here for one show or they're a lifer like, Pop Tart or Chris Gregory or Cliff or Vinny. I mean, at all levels. I mean, there's a lot of lifers in our car audio community. And, don't cast them aside because they've got a lot of information and stuff that, they've been through so much that especially the younger people will experience someday if they keep doing this, because pretty much it's a universal experience about, learning to tune and learning to build and learning to get along with people and learning how to compete.
For sure. And to be clear with everybody, that's this isn't changing anything with the current class structure. So street as we know it, as we have known it, is still obviously going to world championships, everything else. This is a new separate program, but the really driven for around the retailers and to get new, like you said, get new blood in and give it a shot and try it. And that's something you've always been good at, is throwing the spaghetti against the wall and see what lands.
Yeah. Usually I'm eating it off the floor is what happens. Flopping it up. But and we we welcome people into our community. We want them. I mean, we're so lucky to have MECA. I mean, not just me in my position, but I mean, you think about what people have in their lives. I mean, some people go bowling every other day, and some people have a boat in the summer, and they go throw money in that hole in the water. And there's all kinds of things to do in your life. But we've got two of the coolest things in the world. Cars and trucks. Motorcycles. Vehicles, and we've got music. I mean, it is so cool, and we put it together like nobody else can. Whether it's sound quality or sound pressure, we've got a lot of talent in our club, judging wise and competitor wise and experience wise, and people, man, it's all there for you if you just want to soak it up and maybe let the ego down a little bit and just say, hey, I want to learn something today. Or I never sat in that car and people say it sounds amazing, maybe I should go hear it.
Right.
And
that's the biggest, I think the biggest part of it is experiencing some of these cars. It's just going out and knowing what the true potential is, and you might be better than you think, or you might be, have some way to go. But I think that's the biggest of the majority of people that have started new that I've talked to over the past 5 years anyway. The majority are here, doing this to learn and to get feedback and to get better. And I would, if we could, we can't really, but if we could replace, a lot during the season, if we could replace the name term judge with coach, I think it's much more apt, because it really is. It's in
the clinics for sure. I mean, you are a coach. We don't want to touch the equipment, or we just want to guide them and tell them what needs done, or they can look at this, look at that. We don't want to be hands-on. That's really not right. But we can definitely help people out, and we have for years. I mean, in the beginning, we did clinics all the time.
Yep.
RTA clinics and install clinics and sound quality and SPL. We had all kinds of clinics, but that I guess as we started to get busier, we had less time for clinics, which I regret, because clinics are so awesome. And they really helped build MECA. Back in the day when we had over 2,000 members in the United States, part of that was because of these clinics. People were buying in to get these clinics.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were so valuable, and we could help them in 10 minutes, where a retailer most retailers unless they were MECA members and schooled, really couldn't do what we could do
Right.
for them.
Right.
So, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
The rules for those new consumer classes, those are posted.
They're in the rule book.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you just go to the mecacaraudio.com website and then go to SQL and then general SQL rules, the breakdown of the classes is right at the top of that, and then everything else is inside the 2021. Well, when it's coming, when is it? Is the 21 rule book out yet, or is that
online? Yeah, it's a tiny URL little thing there. To 2021 MECA SQL rule book.
okay?
And, yeah, you can go get it right now. There are a couple of little tweaks we were talking about, are going to be incorporated. So they may not be, they're not there right now, but they'll be there by next week. The thing with finals and the order and just clarifying some of the things we talked about tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Cool.
yeah, we're already on that. Let's see if there's anything else I can just kind of throw your way. Just, try and find us some places to have some shows. We can have sound quality shows just about anywhere. We can kind of run under the radar, and we don't have to worry about making so much noise in the demos and everything that are, attracting the police and the complaints to us. So we can have sound quality shows all over the place. So let's try and do that together. And if you have a retail store in your area that, is a little bit interested in sound quality, tell them to get involved with our little sound quality program. Maybe come that day, bring your vehicle and share it, and share what you know, and get some new people into this. And, that's really what's about.
And I would say too that, I mean, the if you want to get events going in your area, then reach out to Steve or Travis and me, whoever. But we'll at least nothing's going to happen overnight. But at least even just having somebody there locally willing to put in some time to know where to even a good venue is to have an event, to kind of get in people's ears and everything to get something going, and kind of know what the land of, what's around in terms of other willing competitors, new people with systems, whatever, just being able to bring that network to us. And then it makes it a lot, anybody can help get an event going. Anybody. Yeah. You don't have to be, there's not a secret knock when it comes to that.
Well, most of the events we have are there because of members advocating for us.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Exactly. I mean, we just follow up, but I will tell you, if somebody is serious about having a MECA show, we'll put it together for them. It's very rare that somebody calls and wants a MECA show, no matter where they're at, that we tell them no. We figure it out. We want to work with them, and, we have some manufacturer backing this year more than usual to help do that. So we're reaching out like never before. We really want to make an impact this year. People are jonesing for what we do. And when the spring and summer hits and, the vaccines are out and people feel more comfortable, especially get into summer, we're going to be jamming. I mean, we're going to be finding places to have shows. We're going to be having a good time. I really believe that. One thing, too, I did want to just touch on this judge training coming up, which I know, Cliff, you're going to be up there. And we have people coming from California and from Florida and from all over the place. It's really cool. Colorado, Montana. So, we're going to have the training at the Audio Specialist store. Is very well equipped for what we need to do. It has lots of space. Rob and his crew, they're being very gracious to give us this time to use the facility when they could be open and selling product. They're giving up, especially their install bays and stuff. They're not working that day, so we can be there, and we really appreciate that. We're bringing in cars from different states that are all top level sound vehicles in their classes. And there'll be some audio specialist vehicles there too, for sure, since we're there. But there'll be, Tim Smith's vehicle should be there. Kevin Keane should be there. Mike, I'm pretty sure Mike Myers will be there. Bringing their vehicles so that we have like the different classes, and we say, okay, it's not like this is the perfect car for this class. No such thing exists. But here's just some ideas of what's going on. I mean, they're exploring the rules as far as they can for this class. And let's listen to the imaging and let's hear what it can do. And that way, one of the funniest things to me, people, they see pictures of something online. They go, man, that looks like the best sounding car in the world. Well, yeah, it looks that way.
Right.
But unless you listen, how do you know? So, we really are going to give the judges and the judge trainee people, the event directors are coming to this, a chance to sit in these vehicles and really hear the difference. And, some people, let's be honest, some people cannot hear the difference. They don't have the
Mhm.
talent or the training. They don't have the capability physically to hear those differences. And of course, we're looking for those people that excel at that have the talent in particular and have the patience to be good judges. Just an example, look at Mike Flanagan now. He's of course, one of our better judges, but it took how many years for him to get where he's at today? It took
Right.
many years, right?
Yep.
Just like it takes competitors years. It's very rare somebody comes in, especially to sound quality, and the first year they come in and kick ass. It takes
Right.
time. You have to learn.
Yep.
And, of course, the tuning thing, everybody has to go through their tuning experiences. So we want people to experience this stuff so that, when they do quantify the scores, that they're comfortable and they've heard something worth comparing to. Not that it's perfect, not by any means. It's just another musical experience. And that's really what MECA is all about, is a series of musical experiences, whether it's in a car, the symphony, a band, a jazz club, whatever. It's about your musical memory and bringing that to life in these tracks that we listen to.
For sure. And there's still spots open for that judges
Yeah, we have
training,
about 6
right?
spots left. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Gerald Costa was asking about making, if it'd be possible to make the feedback, like, say he's saying, like, have it part of the judging process, that the judge spends 3 minutes or so afterward giving feedback per car. um I think it's going to vary by the show. I think it also kind of varies by the judge.
Yeah.
Like
And what you have
we
to
mentioned
say, right. Yeah.
Linda earlier, she writes everything and gives very little verbal feedback, whereas I'm more inclined to give more verbal feedback and less
Right.
note
Well,
taking, because nobody's going to read my writing after the
yeah.
whole day. But
Well, right. Especially, I don't even want to read my own writing. Probably can't, really, half of it. But yeah, it's built into the system that the judge can communicate with you after they're done, especially if they're going to come in and say, well, I did make a couple changes. Just check your, and look at your sheet, and,
right,
your mid bass is lacking, but this was good, blah, blah, blah.
right.
Find some good stuff. Um, 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 well, I'm sorry. I forgot what I was going to say.
No, you're fine. But yeah, as far as the judges training, there's still slots open for that.
Those thoughts open.
And I think we got a dealer coming from Colorado as well. It should be good. And like I said, we've done
Well, Scott Welch
5 or 6 shows there. It's a great event.
Matt will be there. Several of the people that names are on the cups. Steve Cook should probably be there. I'm thinking, there's going to be people that are, legends in our industry, and that are champions, true champions. And one thing, I listen to the criticism and stuff about things we do, and I do have to laugh just a little bit, because I look back at our Culbertson Cup and now the Gates Cup, and I look at the names on there, and there's nobody that can tell me that we did anything wrong. Mark Eldridge, Matt Roberts, Kirk Profit. Just Alma Gates. All of those people deserved everything they got and more from us and
Yeah.
in our industry. And, we've been doing good stuff, and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is a important part of the process. To it doesn't mean if you obviously, if you take everybody's opinion on how to do a show or run an organization or anything else, everybody has their own opinion of how to do things, and the person responsible at the end of the day has to kind of put their fingerprint on it and make some of those decisions one way or another. And that's what you've always done. I think having this kind of an open forum process where people know that everything is being looked at. It's not a some kind of, again, a special club with a knock that you have to get into to do well in MECA. I don't think that's That's
No,
definitely not the intention. That's not the case. It's just a matter of some people. It's competition at the end of the day, and some people work
and there's only 7
really
classes.
hard to win.
There's only 7 classes. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, there's not that many classes. I mean, that's tough. So, I mean, we were talking, and hopefully one day the world does come together for events where we can do this and have big prize money and all kinds of grandiose things. But, I look forward to that day when we can all come together and really pick out the best cars in the world. But for right now, they're the best cars we know of, and these people are participating, and they've worked hard, and they paid their dues, and they deserve all the respect and credit. And if you're not sitting in their cars, you're missing something. You need to go in there and get a demo, because these people have something to show you for sure and share with you. Yeah.
For sure.
So, everybody's invited to the party. The party goes on. I appreciate, I guess we're pretty well done. We did pretty good tonight, I think, right?
I think so. I think we're good.
Yeah. And, I tell you, I love all you folks out there, even the people that hate on us a little bit. I know you're hating on us with love, so that's okay. Just let you know that, that does not deter us. We're going to keep doing what we know is right and what we feel is best for everybody. Everybody. Okay, so that's the car audio community, and that's what we're going to do. So y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend. Can't wait to see you at the next show. And tune them up. Get them ready. We'll see
y'all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Steve. Thanks for taking the time.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.